was your favourite book when you were a child?
Oh, that's a great question. Now, my favourite book when I was a child, well, actually, there's a poster up there of some of them. Enid Blyton's famous 5 books. Have you read any of those?
No, but I've got 2.
Have you got 2? So they were definitely on my favourite list, Enid Blyton. But I was looking in your library to see, but my favourite book was a book called Rebecca's World. And it was a fantasy book where Rebecca went to another world and tried to help them, and it was great. And my teacher used to read it in the afternoon to us when we were about 6 or 7, which is about your age, isn't it? Yeah. So that was it. Rebecca's World was my favourite book as a child.
Okay. Sounds very interesting, to be honest.
It was a very interesting book. You should look at it. It's 35 years old, that book, though. It's quite old, that book now. I don't think you can buy it anymore, but it's a really, really good book. You know Doctor Who?
Yeah.
You said, yeah. The guy that wrote Doctor Who was the guy that wrote that book. So there's no Daleks in it, though.
What types of books do you like writing?
Well, I've only ever written one book, so that's this book here. It's called I Don't Work Fridays, and it's called it's basically a non-fiction book. So it's about business. So I have a business, and this is to my customers. So I wrote this book so people who want to run their business and grow their business, can read my book, and then it helps them develop their business or their school or anything along those lines. So it's basically a lot of people who, what does your mummy and daddy do? Do they?
My mum works for pipes, so she works with Thames Water.
Okay, Thames Water. So that what we do is we'd help them get bigger and grow and allow their staff to have a little bit more time off as well. That's why we don't work Fridays. So today's not working, obviously. I'm just here to have a bit of fun. So that's my book. But I've also written quite a few articles. So if you go on a plane and you read the In-Flight magazine, sometimes there's an article that we've written in there as well. And I write a blog. Do you know about blogs? So a blog is something you write online on your computer and you put it onto the internet and then people read it. So I've had readers from Australia and South Africa and America, all because I've just written something online and little boys and girls and people from all over the world can read it then, which is amazing. So yeah.
That's very interesting, actually.
Yes, thank you.
What was the first book you wrote?
That was the first book I wrote. But actually, I used to write little stories when I was younger, about your age, because I really enjoyed the experience of writing. I have a very big imagination. I used to write lots and lots of little stories, only about a few hundred words, maybe 500 words, and then we'd obviously give them to our teachers. So I think actually I've probably written about 20 different books, but all through just having a bit of fun, really.
Well, was it creative stories?
Was it what? Sorry.
Creative stories.
They were very creative, yes. Yeah, they were a little bit like my favourite book, Rebecca's World. They were a little bit of a thriller in there, a little bit of another world. When I was a lot younger, I used to play this game called Dungeons and Dragons, which was all a fantasy role-playing game. Like, The Hobbit? Have you seen The Hobbit? The Hobbit film?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like that. We used to play games, so my imagination was quite along those lines. So I used to write books like that. I used to enjoy that.
Okay. Do you have a lucky pencil to write with?
A lucky pencil. Well, when I was younger, I did, very much so. But nowadays, we write on the computer. So I get up in the morning and I sit there and I write on my computer. But obviously, when I'm at these sort of places, I can't do that. So what I do have somewhere is, there goes the book, is my lucky pencil. So I actually have my own pencils, and they're actually printed with something on it as well. Can you read that?
Choose what you do with your tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. So this is what our business is all about. It's helping our customers choose what they do with their tomorrow. So when I'm out and about and I have an idea, I might take out my pad, take out my pencil and write my ideas down so I never forget them. Always carry your lucky pencil and your pad around with you because it helps you remember things and you can write them down as well. So that's what I have with me.
Where do you find it easiest to write?
Oh, that's good. I have 2 children, twins. They're here in this school. 5-year-old, Lily and James. You might not know them, but they our office is in upstairs in our house, So what I have to do is I have to get up really early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and creep past their bedrooms and go into my little office and shut the door. And then I wrote my book, basically doing that on a Saturday morning. So 3 hours every morning I used to sit there and write my book on a Saturday. And then I go downstairs and join the family for breakfast. And then we go out and play and do things during the day. So that's what I did 2 years ago now.
I'm a twin.
You're a twin? Wow, what's your sister called? Brother?
Yeah, brother.
Oh, what's your brother called?
William.
William? Oh, the twins are wonderful, aren't they? Do you get on well with William?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. I think Lily would say the same about James as well. It's good to be a twin.
Okay, it's alright, Mr. Norbury, if we do another question.
It'd be lovely, thank you very much.
What inspired you to be an author?
That's a really good question, that one. So, a friend of mine wrote a book and he gave it to me to read. He gave me what they call the manuscript, which is the book before it's printed. Yeah, so it's all the original workings. And I made a comment about it, which when it was printed was on the front cover. So, for example, on the book here, you have certain things on the front cover and on the back. And my quote got on the top of his book. And what happened then was the publisher said, oh, who is this person that's written this quote? And they contacted me and said, do you have a book in you? And at that point in time, I thought, yeah, I probably do actually. And I wanted to get my message out, because my book's quite personal. It's about me, about my journey from a 7-year-old child up to today, really. And I wanted my story out there as well. So I thought, actually, why don't I write a book? It can't be that hard, is it? So that's what I did. I wrote a book. So that's why I did it.
How many books have you written and published?
Just the one so far. However, we're in the process of writing our second book. So we just started that as a project. We hope to have it out by the end of the summer. This one's called I Don't Work Fridays. The next book is called I Don't Work. So the reason it's called I Don't Work is because actually it's not you that does the work, it's the business or it's the school, and it's understanding how that works together. So our belief is every person's looking for answers, but actually it's the questions, as you're doing now, are the better ways of doing it. So our new book is about the questions you need to ask your school or your business on how to get better. So that's what the new book's coming out.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
Thank you.
It's a very good book.
Yeah, I hope I shall let you have a copy and you can have a read and you can tell me if that's okay. Yeah.
Did you like writing stories when you were 8 years old?
As I say, I actually love writing stories. I wasn't very good at writing stories because I think my imagination got away with me a little bit. So I didn't have those things called commas and full stops and paragraphs, and my punctuation wasn't very good and my grammar wasn't very good either. So I wasn't very good at writing, as in from a skill, but I had lots of imagination. So I really, really enjoyed it, and that's for someone who didn't like doing it at school, to actually write a book was a real achievement for me. So when your headmaster had it as his book of the week, I was very nervous, just in case he picked up all my grammar, my spelling issues as well. I don't think there was that many.
So is that how you became an author?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah, because I just like the idea of getting something that I had to say out there, and you can do it through video and TV and things like this now. But you can also do it through a book. That book will stay in someone's bookshelf or their bookshelf for years and years, and lots of people can read it. So it lasts forever, really. So I just thought that was a nice way of doing it as well. Plus, because the story's a little bit sad in there about my first daughter, all the proceeds of the book go to a charity as well. So it means to say that everybody who buys the book means that the charity benefits from it, and that's quite a nice feeling as well.
Why did you want to be an author?
Why did I? I think it was just really to help people understand the journey that I've been through, really, from being a child up to being an adult and my journey going through it. And if they could read it and find something in it that they found interesting, funny, sad, then that would be really good. So what's your favourite book?
My favourite book is The Midnight Game.
Oh wow, and why is that your favourite book?
Because it's a really good and exciting and sad book.
Yeah, and that's why I write the book, because actually I want people like you to go, oh, that'd be my favourite book. Have you heard of Amazon website? Yeah. So you can buy my book on Amazon. That's not a plug, obviously. But you can buy my book on Amazon, and then you can leave a review. And it's really nice when someone buys it, I don't know, and they leave a review and say, it was a great book, it was one of my favourite books, or something like that. It makes you feel really good. And that's why I did. Like, you've got your favourite book as well.
I've got a favourite book as well.
What's yours?
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl, lovely.
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh.
Is it James and the Giant Peach?
No, all of them.
All of them, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Oh, they're great books, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Who writes the blurb on the back of your books?
Oh, that's a very clever lady. She's called Mrs. Norbury. It's my wife. So Jackie's a wordsmith, so she writes really, really well. And there is on the back of your book, there's a little bit of a format of what you need to do. So you need to write a little bit of what the book is about, a little bit of entertaining things, and then who the author is. So Jackie writes that for me.
Okay.
Because I'm not that clever, see. She is.
Who is your favourite author?
I've got quite a few, really. Let's go back. So, have you heard of a guy called William Shakespeare?
Yes.
Yeah, so unusually, I'm a really big fan of William Shakespeare. Now, the reason I say that was when I was probably about your age, at my school fair, I bought a raffle ticket, or my mum did, and I won. And my prize was the complete works of William Shakespeare in a nice leather-bound folder, big books. So my English teachers decided to help me read the books. So I started with them, and I went through the tragedies and the comedies, and I read most of them, really. And I studied Macbeth, which is my favourite book of all time. And I loved it. It was so good to read a book that was written so many years ago, but was still sort of relevant, and I understood it, and it just made me feel really good about reading. So that was one of my favourite authors. Enid Blyton, as we said. J.K. Rowling. Love J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter books. Have you read any Harry Potter books?
I've read that too.
Yeah, they're really fun, aren't they? I like those sorts of books. And then I also like a guy called Robert Ludlum. He writes sort of like spy, thriller type books, more adult.
My sister has a book that's called The Spy Who Waits for Goodness.
Well, there you go. So I like spy books. They're really good fun because they're a little bit mysterious. I think that's good fun for me. So yeah, they're my favourite authors, really. Unfortunately, William Shakespeare doesn't write any more books, so I've just got his collection to read.
Because he wrote.
Well, because he died a long, long time ago, that's right, yeah. But his books are great, you should read them, they are very, very good.
Being an author meaning you get to travel the world.
It does, yeah. Yes, so I was in a place called Singapore.
Or been.
Have you been to Singapore? What did you think of it?
It's quite nice, but not the snow part.
Okay, yes, it's quite a... So it's a very, 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 very small country. In fact, on the world map, it's just a little red dot. And they actually called it the red dot. So I've been to there, opportunity to go to Australia, which is a bit further round. Quite a few readers have read it in America, so the opportunity to go to America as well. So yeah, being an author means you can travel because your book travels. And especially with the internet now, the book can travel all over the world. It means you can travel all over the world as well. That's a really good question, that. I like that one.
Are you good at spelling?
Not really, no. There's things called spell checkers on computers now, so I'm not that good at spelling. You're not going to test me, are you? Oh, are you? Okay. What's is it going to be a good word like cat or dog or something?
No.
Okay. What's the word?
Collaborative.
Collaborative. Okay. You always spell collaborative. It begins with a C, doesn't it? Has it got an O and two L's? A, B, O, R, A, T, I, V, E. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Now, if my old English teacher was here, she'd be very, very impressed because I'm not that good at spelling. Are you good at spelling?
I think so.
Good. Good. That's important.
Is it alright if we go for the last two questions?
Very much so, yes. Oh, one each.
No, that was my last question.
Okay.
Do you have any top tips to help you become an author?
Yeah, well, first I think you need to enjoy writing or just having something to write. Is it writing a story type book? Any type of book, yeah. I think you need a plan of what the book is going to be. So you need a start, a middle, and an end. And the thing for me is, I used to just write 500 to 1,000 words every Saturday. That was what I used to do, which is not a lot actually. And of course, after a while, it starts to build up and build up and build up. My other thing is, I never read back what I'd just written, because if I read back, I'd stop and change it all. And what I want to do is just get lots of stuff done, and then I'll give it to someone else to read, and they're called an editor, and then they would put it into a nice little format for me. So that's what I did. I just did little and often was my tip for writing a book.
Once one of my friends was reading a book and they saw a mistake.
Oh, really? Yeah, it does happen. There are spelling mistakes in books and everything. We do ask the editors and the publishers to try and spot those, but so that word collaborative, I wouldn't want to put that in a book. That's a bit too difficult for me. But that you can find those in books, but they do happen, obviously. But I think the key for writing a book is to know what you want to say, and then just write little bits and bobs. And after a while, it's like you've got like English books, haven't you?
Yeah.
On day one, it was empty, and now you look at it, it's got lots and lots of things in it. Because you write a little bit and often, and that's what happens to write a book. So it's not a big task, it's just little tasks.
Today in English we did instruction of how to do a jam or marmite butter sandwich.
Wow.
And then we made it, and we had to do exactly what the class said.
Yes.
And then we could eat it.
Nice. No, I like those English lessons. They didn't have those English lessons in London school, but I like those. That sounds fun. Was it nice? And did you make it to the instructions?
Yeah.
Well done.
Francesca forgot to say to put the jam on.
Put the jam on, oh dear. It's called a sandwich then, it's not really called a jam sandwich, isn't it?
My partner, what he did, so he had the end, but the end, there was two pieces sliced like that, and he never said to put the slice like that, and he just did it.
Oh, so you have to follow instructions, don't you? That's the important part, to help people. And that's a little bit what my book's about. It's a little bit of an instruction book to help people so they follow the instructions and their business then grows. So that's what we do.
Okay. So it's very nice to meet you, Mr. Norbury.
It's very nice to meet you as too. Thank you very much indeed for your questions. They were wonderful. And what I've got is, I've got my favourite pencil.
Yeah.
What I thought I'd do is I've got one for you as well, because you've got such good questions. And every time you write stuff down using the pencil, you can know these pencils write books, and that's what you do. So thank you so much for your questions. I really enjoyed today.